This is Community Formation, a podcast made by and for the Twilight Imperium Community. Okay, yo, we really need to talk about Mommy Daddy Game.
What? Excuse me? What?
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Mommy Daddy Game.
Oh.
Mommy Daddy Game.
We don't
talk about Mommy Daddy
We don't
Game.
need to bring that energy here.
We don't talk. No.
You filthy odds, always trying to bring stuff up that's in the past.
Evens. Evens.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no.
That's that has been a wild ride so far. And
it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, dude.
Absolutely. And it's such a spot in time. I can't really tell people to go make their own mommy daddy game, but I can tell people that they're going to love hearing about our mommy daddy experience.
Oh yeah. So we'll give you the scoop on it. It's an asynchronous TI game that we are a part of. It's PBD 71 on the server, and it's the brainchild of Fingelfin, which
actually, Oddwolf came up with the idea on the community, and it was
on
the suggestions channel on the community server, and he came up with the idea for it, and then Finn was the one who was just like, let's take it into action.
Well, there we go.
Let's give credit where credit's due.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. Our boy Oddwolf, Old Wolf. No, he's called Oddwolf on that one because he's part of the Odds team.
I think my running gag is that I'm going to say his name wrong every single time on the show because I got it wrong in the last episode.
Totally.
Now we're going with this one here.
Totally. So what's going on with this game? The whole concept of it is that each faction is controlled by a team of 2, but it's not a team where you're allowed to communicate with your teammate like at all. The idea is that you're swapping control on odds and evens, like turns and rounds and like whatever agendas, even like whatever can be alternated in terms of odd and even numbers is divvied up between the two people. So the way that I've described it is that it's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde experience.
It's more of like a Dr. Jekyll and a Mr. Magoo based on some of the moves the odds are making.
And of course the joke is that it's always their fault. It's always the evens' fault. It's always
some of my personal philosophy is I sat down, I'm playing Yssaril in that game with my boy Holy Teaspoon. He's my odd counterpart. And I sat down in the evens channel, like, all right guys, my entire goal this game is to have my faction eliminated on the odds term. Thank you.
Yes. And I still want to see that, by the way. I still want to see that. Yeah.
Plans brewing.
My whole experience is that I'm playing Hakan with Fingelfin, and I've been kind of trolling him a little bit, maybe intentionally, unintentionally. You know, it's just more of like a result of like trying to chase different objectives, like the both of us trying to like go for the different public objective in the same round has been a hilarious experience. Like absolutely hilarious experience.
You kind of tell who's in the stronger factions too.
Oh, sure.
Because like you're Hakan, so you can pivot pretty easily. Even if you're doing something wrong, it's like it's fine. I can clean up my mistake. But then Titans, like they didn't score in a round because the communicate, like not the communication, but like it was harder for them to pivot into a singular ideology, I guess.
Yeah, totally. No, we barely got there to scoring what we needed to score. But what was really funny is that like after we had passed, after I had done everything that I was going to do on the evens turn and like even on our turn, like Fingelfin just got trashed is what I'm going to say. He got dumpstered, like stuff got attacked. I mean, my stuff got attacked, like I got attacked and then I retreated and then he got attacked and it's just like, he got Magioned, like, it's just.
By the way, all of that was me and Expendable. There's.
So we're just getting dumped on.
We've decided to make false enemies, and I was like, "Yo, who wants to attack the Khan with promise of protection? He's too safe.
Yep.
We got to go at him."
Wow. Well, it's good to know that this is the way you really feel. This is good to know. That
like no matter what we do, we're like the gunslinger following the man in black. It's just going to happen.
Okay.
The wheel will keep turning. We will reach the top of the tower, and we're going to go back to round 1 in the Milty draft.
Wait,
You're going to be 1. I'm going to be 2. The Dark Tower series.
Is this a Dark Tower reference? Okay.
Yeah,
I never read it, but I think I know what you're talking about.
You're fine.
What I think.
That was a comment for like a few million people that would have gotten the joke, but like it's fine.
Yeah, for real. While we're on the subject of async games and everything, I do want to bring up this very momentous and very exciting situation that is just brewing. It's just now taking off. It's just now coming into its own as its own unique monstrosity is how I would describe it. But the async TI server is really popping off lately. They're about to start PBD 100, the Centennial game, as they are counting it. And T-Spin's decided to make a really big deal out of it. It's an experimental multiplayer experience. Essentially want to do a 25-player every faction 6-ring galaxy that is just like more tall than it is wide, like massive.
I think it's like lore. It's like everyone's lore,
and it's like lore accurate with
Saren,
with the
they had a new legendary planets. They had a new legendary planet abilities. There's like a legendary planet in a supernova.
Yeah. There's all these just crazy like new tiles
in there. We got some Garbaggio action.
I don't even know. The map is so massive. Like I was like even like in the TTSA of like working on some stuff, and I can't even like conceive of the map. The way I've been describing it is that it's like, you know, those videos of like when they have like a Civ 5 game, but they've like they have a tiny map and then they put like 50 civs on there, and it's like, but they're all computer controlled, and then you just kind of time lapse it and you see how the whole thing goes, and then it's like 20 civs get eliminated within the first like 80 turns or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is like the whole idea is that we're gonna like see eliminations happen in rounds like, I don't know, 1, 2, and 3,
like right next to Sar.
And yeah, sure, yeah, like totally. No, that stuff could
Rex, so.
That stuff could and maybe should happen. You know, arguably. So I don't know. It's just it's the way I'm viewing it is just more of like a celebration than anything else. It's just a celebration. What it makes me think of actually, and I think it's like just bringing it up to me because everything is like pictures of a TTS like situation or whatever. It makes me think of a game too, man. You know, it's like really nostalgic.
I knew there was something like this. Like this stirring in me when it started being like, oh, we're gonna fall in the
exactly. No, it's got this like similar kind of like energy.
I think this game's gonna need its own server, to be honest.
Oh my god, bro!
I'm not joking though, dude. Like,
no, don't even.
It's already gonna have 3 separate channels.
Oh my god!
Like, and we can't invite Quantum because he's at the Discord server limit. Just so you know.
Oh wait, really?
Man. I saw him post something the other day. Yeah, he's like, you must upgrade your Nitro to join another server.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But no, man, that game looks really interesting. We'll have to keep you as more things develop. I mean, it's still not the planning. It's still kind of in its infancy. We haven't even drafted yet.
Yeah, waiting on Robin Lambert. Waiting on Robin Lambert.
Robin, you know, Robin's out camping this weekend. He's in the illustrious game 42. That we're always talking about. There is a little bit of a link in this game. I have a teammate. I'm one of 2 people that will be on a team. Jadeem Jedi, when you draft Jolnar, you get JJ on your team.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then I can't play Winu. That's another rule. We'll have to get into my hate for Winu when we have Brass and I talk about our most hated faction to play. But I can't play Winu, and I'm on Mick Moose's team.
Yeah.
And for those of you who know me, him and I are like oil and water. Our play styles don't match. It's like the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Yeah.
Because we're both stubborn as hell, but I don't know which one of us is not moving because we both ain't moving. It's more like the 2 rocks stare at each other until eternity passes over. So,
and that's why you're going to win.
It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's why you're going to win. You're just going to stubborn everyone to death. Yeah.
If I win this game, this mustache took me 4 months to grow. I'll have a twirl on it by the end of this.
Yeah, totally. No,
definitely. But yeah, man, and exciting personal news. My TI journey, my first win since I think not my qualifier. Like I won like some personal games, but I got my first win on the async. I won as Yusarl. It was started on June 2nd and ended this past week. It was
there you go.
4-4 game. It felt really good to just be a winner again. I don't know, like you're grinding out. I've been in the mix in all my games, so that's been nice. Well, at least like 7, 8, 9 points. I haven't had like a 4-point game in a while, but yeah.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
So you played as Yusarl. Sure. I remember seeing this hand of action cards at one point along the way. It, everyone's had a good Yusarl game, I feel like, but that one seemed like an especially good Yusarl game. Yeah, is what it seemed
and I
like.
still needed someone to whiff on a bombardment for example to win. That's TI, baby.
That's TI, baby.
Yeah, man. But we got a hell of an episode coming up. We got our boy PhilRoi on, and actually, one interview is getting split into two because that man very important to the community, and we wanted to give him his time in the sun. So this week we're gonna have kind of the TTS server half of the interview.
No, and then the Discord server. Discord server. Discord. Yeah.
Yes. Apologies. Yeah. We're gonna have that Discord. That's right. I should rephrase of that. And then for the next week we're gonna have Nobility Rising. That week episode. So that's kind of the vibe we got going today. Community games not really rolling, so we're not really going to talk about. We don't even really have a format thing.
We are going to have DragoThaxton on yet again to talk about some tournament stuff, more like invitational tournament stuff.
Yeah, if you be checking your mail, you might get there, guys.
Yeah,
if you're listening to this, you got a chance. Why not?
You got mail, maybe. I don't know.
We're waiting, but cobwebs are all I'm finding in my mailbox. It's really awkward.
That's all I got. Are cobwebs.
You guys are getting cobwebs?
This is where I'd put my invitation if I had one.
But no, I'm actually getting incredibly excited for that because it'll be good to be watching some good competitive TI. I mean, with that TIGL stuff, we have a new segment today.
Yeah,
a little bit of talking about the TIGL. Some interference.
It's the TIGL bulletin coming to you hot, coming to you live. Frox has got it.
I think I will. Yeah. So, Big Al Cappuccino, just today, they were recording it September 2nd. He won as Soul in the first scheduled game. And as a little side note, that's his 5th win in a row in a full game he's played. So Big Al, kind of a big target.
Attaboy.
In other news, Fled Unicycle won Async Play by Discord 76's Necro, taking the lead on the scoring, by the way. That's what he's saying when he's taking the league. With the higher also scoring, because Big Al's boat floating mean he doesn't reap the rewards of point sniping. Something to keep in mind if you're in the TIGL, guys. You may want to repress the boats. Bring your anchors out, throw them into someone else's boat. Don't
so I just want to stop you and reinforce that you're talking about the secondary scoring method that is being tracked for every TIGL game. So you've got your primary scoring method. If you watch our Big Al episode, this is just review, but your primary scoring method is simple. If you win a game, that's 1 point. And that's the primary way of tracking your lifetime stats. And then there's a secondary scoring method that is dependent on how many people scored how many points and your position relative to that. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about with Fled. Yeah.
So Fled must have won in quite dominant fashion. I didn't grab the Rubbernecker roll today to take a look at the screens, but moving forward, I may have to just do that to give people a little better bulletin. And then Big Al did send me 2 little news notes for the upcoming week since this is the first week. Actually, I forgot the game I was involved in. Kaluin won PBD 76.
That's my boy.
And actually, it was an incredible win, if I might add. So Search Warrant came out. Not Search Warrant. What's the one where incentive program came out? Stage 2 for 10 trade goods came out. He's Winu, goes in the round 4 with 3 points, gets to 10 in round 4. 7-point victory round for Kaluin, with the unfortunate strengthening bonds with Holy Teaspoon, who gave him the support swap. And I would have won on initiative 1 as Mahakt. First action. in round 5.
But wait, did he do the pop the hero for the win? Is that what happened?
Oh no, he popped. He won in status. Yeah. He
But
won
you said
on the 5 in status phase. Like I got to 9 points. Yeah.
Oh, but you said initiative 1. Oh, I see.
I would have. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Or I would have won I would have won first round because I was Mahawk with 4 mechs in my home system. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, he won.
Well,
he won on the 5 in round 4. He had a 7-point swing round to win the game.
Yeah, totally,
So, yeah.
totally.
But that was incredibly
Absolutely
impressive.
wild.
And we talk about Kalun a little bit more later in the episode. But I do want to get back to the little bulletins Al had. There are 7 filled games scheduled for this weekend. That's the Labor Day weekend for those of us here in the U.S. For those of us not, that's September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And which is 42 players in a single session. That's pretty awesome. And then also for those who organize their games and then play them on the Cool Guys server, which is the Aussie Discord, we'll put a link in the comments. You can rank up through the existing vet system they have there. So it's kind of like a little it's a double XP weekend,
exactly,
if you will.
Yeah. So I made the snap decision because my schedule kind of changed up and I had to bail out of the league game that I had originally signed up for. And as a snap decision today, I signed up for a league game that is going to happen at 6 a.m. my time tomorrow. So,
oh my God.
I will have some news perhaps on the next episode. If I am a TIGL winner or not, we shall see. I have no idea what to expect, but I know that I'm going to play with Major Ass.
There's someone else you're playing with signed up right after you too.
Oh no, actually that was the most hilarious shit possible, is that I signed up for this game and then I was like typing to like do something funny where it's like, I'm coming for you, Major Ass, or something. Like I was just gonna type like, oh, blah blah blah,
I'm coming
blah,
for that Major
funny.
Ass.
And then fucking Mantis signs up like immediately after me, and then I was like, no, Mantis, I'm actually trying to win this game. And then he just responds, no. No.
Dude, how alpha is that, though?
Dude, oh that's some Sigma male grind set fucking shit.
Yeah, dude, he's not even trying to, like, he, like, just knows you're not going to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not even banter. He's just like, nah. No effort even put in. He's not getting creative with it.
I'm coming for Major Ass is what I'm saying.
Whenever you like activate his home system, you say, I'm getting up in that ass.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Hilarious.
Oh,
hilarious. So we'll see how that goes.
No, for sure. And, but look out for this segment. All the news. We're going to be trying. I mean, we may not be your main hub for it, but we'll be one of them.
There's already just so much activity going on with the TI Global League, and I know that this is going to be just a beautiful ride with Big Al, and we just want to keep checking up with him, and we'll be putting out this bulletin and let you know what's going on with that as it goes on, and we'll just see how this rolls, baby.
You guys playing these games are doing our job for us, so thank you, giving us something to talk about. But so Bress, where we going next on our little community formation journey?
Well, I think it's probably time to go talk to Drago. Is what I think. It's about time to do that. So we are going to do our segment we call Articles of War, SCPT Tournament Update. We got DragoThaxton in the house. Say what's up to everyone, Drago.
Hey everybody. Well, I'm glad to be back.
Hell yeah,
man. We missed you last go around, my man.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. Missed your voices. Missed your faces.
Missed my boy. Yeah. We are here. Brother. We are talking about tournament stuff. The regular form tournament is over. Has been over. Congrats again to homeboy Jono for taking the whole thing, taking the cake. That's very good, very good. What we're trying to do here, hanging with Drago, is that we're trying to do a theoretical list of some people that might be in the invitational tournament, which is, I mean, not announced or anything, but we pretty much know it's going to happen, right? Like,
it's assumed.
It's assumed that it is going to happen.
Got to get that year-round content rolling.
Exactly. That's what's going on. So we are just already hopping on the train. We're already thinking about it. We're going to be just doing some brainstorming, and I think the goal is to go for a top 10 of people.
I like arbitrary numbers.
We're just like, how many should we do? I was originally like, let's go for like a list of 36 people, but then we're going to be here all day, like talking about that. You know what I mean? So we're just going to try and spit like a top 10 in no particular order necessarily. Just saying 10 people that we would like to see in the invitational tournament. I for one am excited for more hot TI action. For real.
Agreed.
I just really like watching the sweaty players really go at it. I think that's what the invitational's about, right?
Okay, first of all, who's the sweatiest player?
The sweatiest player?
Who's the sweatiest player?
Big Al's in New Zealand, right? It's pretty hot there, isn't it?
Well, right now it's winter for them, so it's probably pretty cold.
Okay.
Hold up. Hey, man, listen. I don't know. The flat Earth theory dictates that.
Yeah. I prescribe to more of a dish. It's more of a dish.
Oh, it's like a bowl?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Bowl theory. Interesting.
Big bowl theory guy.
Yeah.
I'm like we're sitting on the cereal flakes. That's how we're getting through.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm onto this.
Hilarious.
Well, so the good news is we don't have to even make up 10 because obviously us three, right?
Oh,
well, hey,
just kidding.
We were on that all-winner charts, and I have to say there were 3 very familiar names on there.
I saw my name on the list. They were showing the list earlier. I saw my name. So I don't have to be on this list because I'm on that list, and that's all that matters, baby.
Like I'm on a list somewhere, and it's not
I'm
like
on a
that
list.
one on the internet you have to tell people about in your neighborhood. So I'm cool with that.
Shit, man.
I put it on my resume. I'm on the list.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh man,
hilarious.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, no, I think that's a good jumping off point. I mean, I know we named a few names last week, but maybe more formalized thing. But Drago, since you haven't voiced anything, you want to give me like 3 people who really pop off the list at you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, there's of course Mantis, just because he deserves it no matter what. I think the guy just knows the game backwards, forwards, upside down, inside out. Getting to play with him was probably a great learning experience. Being extorted by him was an even better learning experience. So he's definitely on my short list of people I'd like to watch play again. And then outside of that, I'd like to actually see him play. He's probably already has, I'm sure, in a casual game, but on a like fully captured commentated game, him versus Big Al, I think would be a great back and forth to just watch. A guy that knows the game and like is probably counting things in his head or eliminating, crossing off like possibilities, versus a guy that's just there for float boat and he's going to make sure everyone has a good time. And if he wins at the end, great. If he doesn't, it's also a great day for him, I feel like. So
yeah.
I feel like those two would be a great pair to see go off against each other for sure.
I can totally agree with that. With that.
No, well, this is the Mantis Fan Club podcast. So
I'm the biggest Mantis. I'm the biggest Mantis fan. 100%. Yeah, it's like the Beatles. You know what I mean? Where like the teenage girls are like,
we're in that silly Franken game, and the guy's like trying to like hardcore win. Like it's like relentless. With
he's trying hard, baby. Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
No, Mantis. The thing about Mantis is that Mantis is like smooth, and he just like goes like on the fly, just like so well, just like adapts to the flow. And I think that's like really what vibes with me when you're saying that like Mantis and Big Al would be like a really entertaining thing to see.
It's funny, like you say, like he's flowing through it. It's probably because, like, how Big Al always claims, and I don't know how real this is. I don't know if this is a joke or actually real. He has that spreadsheet calculating the odds. I actually feel like Mantis actually has that in its brain.
Yeah.
So, like, you have the guy that has the sheet in quotes versus the guy that actually has one in his brain.
Yeah. So, straight up, though.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I like as soon as you say like Big Al, like someone like at a table with Big Al, I immediately thought about Fugas because you'd watch him play and people would throw these ideas at him that were definitely suboptimal for him, and he'd just turn them down. So like seeing Big Al throw his zany ideas out and like try to boat float, and Fuga's like, no, I do not think that's a good idea. And he just and then he's super nice about it. But you're just like, oh, I could listen to him turn me down all day. This is really weird. But I mean, he's a hell of a player too. But I'd like to see Fugas. I think that'd be the name I'd throw out there.
Nice,
Not just on the table, Big Al, but that was incredibly enjoyable. And I played one game with him, and he obliterated me. It was, he's very good.
Wow.
Because I think the main point of the Invitational is, I know their main point, or one of probably the main point really, is that they want the best players they can, by whatever metric they measure it by, they want at the table. But really what they're doing is cultivating the games they want to see with the people they want to see them in. And pretty much like, what is it, like a Hunger Games, like, selecting and laying out the format and saying, all right, fight. Like throw some sticks in the middle of a room and say, all right, who comes out?
That's good. That's good. That's funny.
More so than the actual tournament where it's just like who will rise to the top and who will be king of the hill at the end. That is, they're cultivating and saying like they're putting the top 36 or so people in a room and saying, all right, duke it out. Which leads me to my next person, Duke Lukem. I mean, I think he should just I like hearing his voice. I like hearing him talk. Oh yeah. He's another guy that just knows the game a lot too. Big plays. His ghost play, obviously, and the new one.
We've talked about Duke's play style before, and what I would say about him is that he is masterful at like playing the game in so many ways. But the thing that I think he does the best is his deflection, his above the table play, the way that he just like effortlessly like strides through an above the table conversation and just kind of like parts the waters like fucking Moses, bro. Like just parts the waters and he's just like, this is the way. Like
3 points ahead of everyone, but you're like, man, maybe like he could be like Joel Nahr and 3 points ahead of everyone, like. And he, like, next thing you know, you're talking like, oh, yeah, Khan does seem kind of like worrisome. Maybe they're actually secretly sandbagging over there. Actually commit some resources to slowing the Khan down. This Joel Nahr player's got something going for him.
No,
absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. He's just like, he's unmatched in that
category. He plays like a knife going through the air. Like he just like cuts through all the crap and then he's...
But then he spreads his own crat in his aftertail, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Smoke screens.
Oh my God.
Yes.
He does Duke play any async games? I think that would be really entertaining.
Oh my
God. Is he on the async server? We should get him on the server. We should get him on.
I haven't seen him, no.
Yeah.
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah.
Who do you got, Brassbird?
Well, I mean, I'm always rooting for my homeboys. I would say like some of my closest people in the community are Kaluin and Alice. Like, they live in my area. Like we've hung out personally multiple times. They're just like loveliest, sweetest people. I love them. And I also think that they have just got the most like calculating minds for the game. Like obviously like everyone's seen Kaluin win a game. Like everyone's seen Kaluin win multiple games. Like everyone's seen that. It's like pretty much unquestionable. I've been hanging out with Alice a lot recently, and like we're also talking about like other games. Like we're talking about Civilization 5. We're talking about like chess. We're talking about
playing Oath with them?
Yeah, no, we're playing a ton of Oath, you know what I mean? It's like we're playing all these other games, and then we're like also having conversations about how those like overlap into like TI, and there's all these like conversations about like game theory and artificial intelligence and all this stuff. I mean, like I'm just trying to say it's just like the level of perspective and intellect coming from a person like Alice is staggering to me. Like staggering. So I'm always trying to root for them. I think that their track record also proves it.
And as we were talking right now, I just noticed only one person won 2 games with the same faction.
Oh, interesting.
Everyone else only won 1 game with like a faction, and that's Cody TCT won
as Soul
27 and Semi with Soul. Yep,
that's my boy.
Yep.
Oh man.
I think that's a great name to bring up. I think Cody is a pretty solid invitation. Like they just have a track record, and it's like they like what they like. And hey, guess what? You can hate me all you want, but I like to play Soul. You can, you can at me. You know, like
there's something to be said about when you. I mean, like that's in other sports, and obviously Twilight's an esport. In other sports, if you're able to do what everyone knows you're good at continuously without being stopped, you truly are good at it. Because if everyone knows you're good at something and they can try to stop you, but if you can still get it done, I mean, like you're truly So he's to get 2 games and back to back, right? Prelim then semi would be back to back. So like people literally were just armed with him playing Soul and were like, oh, he got Soul again, he won't get it done again, and he did.
And then he did. Then he did.
No, I can appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, I think all the finalists, right? Like, if you're a finalist, you're invited back. I mean, that's just going to be.
Oh, totally, totally.
That would be very odd not to see it that way, of course. But
yeah. And I'm really curious, like how much they put like legacy points into it, you know, because there's a whole like old guard, you know, that is waiting in the wings, like probably ready to come back, you know, at any moment. And I wonder, it's like, is that just kind of like a shoe-in invitation? Like, for example, like, is Magi just a shoe-in invitation for like every invitational for the rest of time? You know,
probably. Like, I mean, he's definitely got like at least a buffer, I would say, for like a while. Yeah.
I mean, the way he plays the game doesn't go away, right?
Like, no, totally.
He's gotta be good at the game. Like,
dude, the funniest. The absolute funniest shit was that when he came into like the prelims or whatever, and then played like pre-Codex 3 Yin, didn't use like any of the faction abilities, just played like a totally vanilla faction and just won the game.
I watched that whole game, like literally like live, and I'm just like I was in awe of it. I mean, he just won. Like, parked the Van Hog at home round 5, and just sat on 9 points. Like, they knew he was going to win. It was just so futile. Like, I could not imagine being in that situation, just being so thoroughly outmatched
by the fucking Yin of all factions.
Exactly.
Can you imagine the embarrassment? It's like it's actually embarrassing a little bit. But
that's very true.
But no, dude. I mean, like, you know, it's just like it just kind of like answers the question of like whatever fucking episode that the boys did recently, where it's like, can you even be good at this game? It's like, yeah, I mean, you look at that game and it's like, yeah, you can be good at this game. You know, you can take this like absolutely trash situation and then turn it into a fucking locked up win.
Yeah.
You know?
In the same vein, kind of circling back to Magi and Yin, 11 Spoons, he's the only other person to get a win with Yin during the tournament besides Magi.
Yeah.
So
mad respect.
They deserve, that's respect right there for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I mean, and like, I mean, one of the like best moments of the entire tournament's owned by that guy. Like, he owned 4 out of 6 home systems at one point in round 5 of his prelim game.
I never saw that one.
And he was asked after the game, like, hey, like, what could you have done to win? He was like, own more home systems. like,
what a fucking G, bro.
Yeah, dude. I was just like, I mean, he's right. Like, because I think he was in bad speaker order, and he was Argent, and he's like, well, time to get at it. Only one way to freaking win. He did not give up.
Wow.
Like, I wish I had that more. I wish I had more of that in me.
Yeah.
For real.
Like, I mean,
for real.
But no, 11 Spoons. That was a really good pickup. I mean, you know, Jade. You got to throw Jade's name out there, like we did on the last episode. I mean, I would absolutely want. I mean, Mahawk is the big winner of this past year's tournament.
Yeah.
She's a Mahawk specialist.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I've seen her navigate some other factions, and I think she's young, which is a nice dichotomy to like the average age of this.
Oh, totally,
totally. To put it.
And that is honestly like the thematic, narrative, dramatic result that I want, where it's like there's this whole arc where it's like they were undervaluing Mahawk, and they were just like, this is a bridge that kind of goes to nowhere. And then Jade comes in, ultimate Mahawk stan, kicks down the door, says, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of benediction because I used it to fucking because I fucking used it to do the most baller shit ever, you know? Like, like that's what the people want to see, obviously. Come on, people want to see that.
Game 80 of the qualifiers, man, too. Last one, right? I believe that was the last qualifier game,
Yeah.
No, Teddy, I thought was the last.
Oh, maybe
one of the last ones. Anyways,
maybe there was 82 or something like that, or
Mhm.
86, whatever it is.
yeah, but it's still silly. No, for
Incredible.
sure. I mean, Teddy, by the way. I mean,
Then yeah.
that'll drive some views, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, people tune in, like, love him, hate him. The guy wins TI games. I
Yeah.
mean, he just does. Like, whatever it is, he has it. I mean, he, like you said, above the table play is really kind of his thing. He kind of like combines it. Like, he has the deflection of Duke Nukem. Maybe not as I don't know. Maybe not as skillfully deflecting, of course. With Teddy, I know is Duke, but definitely in his tactical, he's very slippery. And his tactical situation is also like right up there. I mean, there just comes a point where like maybe someone's not as refined at X, Y, or Z as someone else, but they still are just as good as them. Yeah. So I think Teddy's right there with it, and Teddy's very personable too.
Yeah.
And I'll say right now, if 10's our target, Teddy was the 10th.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll read through our 10. We just kind of glanced over Mantis, Big Al.
I'm so glad you were keeping track. Oh my God.
I got it. Big Mantis, Big Al, Fugus, Cody TCT, Alice, Kaluan, Magi, 11 Spoons, Jaden, Teddy.
Wow. Incredible.
Give me a 10-person game with that, and I'll
yeah.
I'll book a weekend.
Yeah, for real. I think we have room to talk about maybe some honorable mentions or something. I think
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Absolutely cool with that.
Obviously, for entertainment value, everybody wants to see Jadeem Jedi come in and pick technology every round of the game and have a tech board that is a chef's kiss amazing situation. People want to see that.
No, I mean, I think people want to see it. I mean, let's not sell him short for the memes that he goes out. The guy's a very, very, very good player, very well-rounded too. It's just like I don't even know where you separate like the above the table play with people, because I've probably played with JJ more than I have the other people we've mentioned. But I think like where do you draw the line between like a good and a great player, right? Like, because I think he's a very good player, but like a lot of people we've mentioned like had the accolades and the wins like on the stage that puts there definitely honorable mention worthy. And I think JJ could definitely take a game or 4 off these people that we've mentioned above too. So that's a great pick.
For sure. I mean, it should be mentioned that throughout this whole conversation, we, the three of us, have absolutely no bearing or understanding of the criteria that are going to be used
this is a
to
hangout
decide
show, right? We're supposed to
who.
be a couple of friends sitting on the couch drinking beers and bullshit.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that disclaimer is out there. Wait, are you guys actually recording this?
Oh shit! Don't tell my bail officer where I am.
Yeah, no, but it should be said that this is mostly just us shooting the shit and just talking about who we like and who we think the numbers back up, because we are looking at a spreadsheet in some kind of capacity over here, And the numbers speak for themselves, but it's also like I think that was a good point where it's like this is kind of about matchups. And it really, what this makes me really think of is all the stuff we were talking about with Big Al, where he was talking about Global League, then talking about Premier League, and Premier League is like, I don't know, very much modeled after this whole invitational tournament kind of thing, where it's like, you really just have the cream of the crop rising to the top. Fucking, you got all the best people mingling, hanging out. It's about big personalities and it's about matchups.
It's the WWF of Twilight, where it's just like you gotta have the story with you more than just the play.
He's the WWF.
Right, so like, who's Hollywood Hulk Hogan and who's Macho Man Randy Savage then? Come on, guys, put your money where your mouth is,
brother.
We gotta take it further.
Hey,
That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I mean, so we got who's our heel and who's our face.
Who's the heel? I mean, we already said it. Humble's the heel.
We already
said it.
No, I know he's definitely the heel. Yeah, that's exactly what
he's gonna come in just like.
But who's our good guy? I mean, like we can go.
Who's the baby
take
face?
Big Al out of this. Let's take Big Al out of this. Like that's too easy of an answer. I feel.
Yeah. Who's the baby face?
Let's have a little bit of discussion about it. Who's our face?
I mean,
like,
I think
the guy
well, I mean, we just talked about him, but I think the easy baby face is Teddy. I mean, he's like he's the reigning champ. You know what I mean? He's kind of like
he's getting a little bit of
once removed reigning now.
He's like the Bret Hart of the whole situation, man.
He's more like Ric Flair now, right? Like he's like, he's a little bit past his prime. He's going woo a little bit in the background. Sure,
don't let him hear you say that, man.
Oh, he's gonna love it. Are you kidding me? No, but like I'm just saying, like like it's kind of like when LeBron first got good, everyone loved him, but then as things went on. Like, people were starting a little bit of haterades being poured on that game. So I don't think he's quite the face right now, boys.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Right. Who do you think it is, Drago? Who's the baby face?
Oh, man.
This is definitive, by the way. We are sending this feed directly to that person right now.
Let me check one thing.
He's checking one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man. I'm so excited for this wrestling
Planet
thing to
Earth.
land.
I like Planet Earth.
No. That's great. That's a
good one.
That's a really good one right there. Yeah. No. Planet Earth has steez is the word that I'm going to say. Has steez. And for the uninitiated, steez is style with ease. I think it's like it's a skater term, I think, is like where it came from.
I'm a skater boy.
A buddy of mine has it tattooed on his toes. Steez up.
Who does?
A buddy of mine in where I live, on his toes. It says "Steez it up."
Oh my gosh!
Wow. Okay, so you heard it here first. Planet Earth has steez. Can and will bring the game. I think that would be a really entertaining situation. I mean, it's like so when we talk about like memorable games, memorable wins, like who has those like moments that is like, oh man, that was just such a baller way to win the game or whatever. It's like, Planet Earth has got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think honestly, that's a good spot. Like that's a good place, and I think it's a good jumping off point for hopefully. I mean, Invitational's probably here pretty soon. We don't dates or anything announced yet, but I mean, leading into the tournament, I remember October of last year is kind of when I started dipping my toes in the SCPT sands, and it was Invitational time, and it's September now. So yeah,
for real,
for sure. Yeah. Well, Drago, thanks for your time, man. We really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you guys.
And we're back, moving on to our segment that we call Brassbird's Mega Meme Center.
I'm gonna hop in this cart and you're gonna take me for a ride, my man.
You better take a look at what we got going on here. If you've never seen Brassbird's Mega Meme Center, what it is a top 5 in no particular order of the memes that I've been seeing. What is tickling my fancy? What do I find absolutely hilarious? What do I want to broadcast out there? We're we're kind of at an interesting lull with the different meme channels. Like, usually I get a lot of good material out of community game, but that's not really going on right now. So I just decided to harvest everything from good old fashioned Meme Town on the SCPT server. So this is a Meme Town exclusive on Brassbird's Mega Meme Center this time. We're going to go ahead and go straight into meme number 1. What do we got? Oh, this one is from Big Al Cappuccino, my boy. I love that he chose the most meme-worthy system of all time, a Cohen Jailier. New equidistant meta, I licked it, so it's mine. I love it.
Oh my god, that's too good.
Isn't it great?
God, but that goes right along with the butter meta, because you butter the tiles. Yep. Like, there's only one way to get the butter off.
You lick it, obviously. Yep. It only makes sense. And you got the most meme-worthy system. It makes me think of a whole situation where 6 influence just is a drug. You know what I mean? Like when it's in your equidistant, you just need it, and you'll do whatever it takes.
You either need influence or you need Zayu. Like you gotta be top mainline in one of those two. Exactly. You're not gonna get anywhere in TI. Totally.
Short list of the most addictive things in Twilight Imperium 4th edition is 6 influence in a system, and Zayu, Agent of the Nephish, is
absolutely.
Yeah. All right, yeah. All right, we're gonna move right along to meme number 2. This one, I believe this one is Brian. Of course, this one is brilliant, and it ties into all the stuff that we're talking about with Franken.
God, this is so good.
Bell curve memes are pretty funny. Like,
they're highbrow too.
Yeah, they're highbrow.
We gotta get some good highbrow memes every now and then.
And then the intersection with the Franken and of course Arborek, the most meme worthy of the factions.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, dude. And you're the one who has the Latani without the mitosis. So this is
well, I mean, I have the Latani without the mitosis with triple Zayu in a turn.
Yeah, of course. Wow.
Oh,
absolutely
man.
wild. Oh, yeah. So I already credited. This is Brian. I love this one. And we are going to move along to meme number 3. This one is from Vaunt PDX.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to create a ghost alien that is so sexy because they are, right? They are, right?
I mean, the first thing when I look at a list of factions and I think to myself, which one of these is sexy? Gotta go straight for the ghost, right?
It's the ghosts.
Ever since I saw that China edited Nalu, changed my perspective.
I mean, there's something about the armor, you know.
Well,
what
they're
I mean?
very alluring, you know. It's like mysterious, right? It's like the lady in red. Totally get it.
Lady in red. Yeah.
Oh,
totally.
Take me home.
But no, love the Jane Lynch template. I think that I would like to steal this template for my own use in some kind of situation. But no, high marks to this one, of course. And we're going to move on to meme number 4. It's another Franken-inspired one. This is from our boy, Jadim Jedi. And this is another little story. It's another little story of something that we saw go down. And boy, was it ugly. Guess whose home system this was? Just take a guess. Just guess.
If you're thinking it was mine, because we always talk about mine, you would be wrong.
No, so it was my home system, but the thing was that it turned into an extortion where I paid a kingly sum to Jadim Jedi for him to direct his ire to Frox instead. So that was good. A good time. Good moment, actually.
Great. Loved it.
It was awesome. It was great for everyone involved.
Broken on binding with me and JJ too. So that's great. It's great.
It was great for everything, for everyone, including JJ. All right.
Man.
And the last meme that we have for this time is meme number 5. It is from Petra Medusa, a high-quality memer coming in with a lot of steez. And
man,
you just love to see it. I think I picked this one just because Mentak has been such a oppressive force in my life recently.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little later. Huh?
Oh yeah, certainly. But no, this one is absolutely great. Another a wonderful template. I think it's just like perfectly treated. You know, like the fact that it's Soul, the fact that it's Mentak is just like a perfect treatment to the meme.
No, this is fabulous. This is great, fabulous. And I like that honorable mention to the one from PBD 69 that you created for me. It was with the Soul and Hakan and the zoom in. I really like that you developed that format and you've been using it a few times.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we get some real good stuff out of that one. That format of where you have the faction talk.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, it is just like I guess I can show it here right now, but it's essentially a comic, kind of like just a meme comic where I just take snippets of the PBD async TI format and just kind of put a little bit of flair on it and kind of show the
like
humor.
The format itself, exactly. It's great, and like you zoom in on certain words, it's so elementary, but it gets the job done.
It's elementary.
That was
elementary, my dear Watson.
Even in the lull times, the memers keep memeing. I've been seeing a high volume of Simpson memes here lately, which is always enjoyable.
I mean, Vaunt has those on lock. Are you kidding me? Vaunt has every T.I. Simpson meme that you could ever want or imagine. It's incredible, actually.
Yeah.
Wow. So that has been an absolutely thrilling Brassbird's Mega Meme Center and Meme Town exclusive. Thank you for joining. Thank you for enjoying. And we are going to go ahead and keep on moving with this show. We got more content coming straight to you. I think it's time for the speaker to regale us with their whole speech that they have prepared. All right, welcome. We are here. This is the segment called Who's the Speaker Again? This time it is Commissar PhilRoi, the boy, PhilRoi.
How's it going, Phil?
How's it going, my dude?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
Great. Saturday morning.
Great.
Awesome.
Great day.
I'm so excited to be here. Looking at Phil's amazing technologically advanced setup over here. I've been looking forward to this episode since we started doing this project, and he's just got everything so on lock over there, and this is going to be a treat. If you're listening on the Podbean right now, I would actually highly recommend that you check out the YouTube version of this episode in particular, because it is going to be visually very cool. And I don't know, some of the stuff probably pretty necessary to have the visual component of it. So apologies if the Podbean version is less than desirable for this time, but you gotta check this stuff out. You gotta check it out.
I also want to point out that Brassbird missed the mustache memo before recording. Phil and I has some glorious mustaches going. Myself for a wedding that's coming up, and I always have it for that. And then I think, Phil, why'd you grow yours out, buddy?
I'm in the National Guard, and I'm going on a mission here this next month to in just a few days, about a week, to the Middle East, and of course there it's a cultural thing to have a masculine virile mustache. So I'm get mine going before we get there.
Wow.
I know we're diving into nobility stuff, but I do want to ask, what if you don't mind, what's your role in the military?
I'm a religious affairs specialist. I'm a senior religious affairs NCO for my state. I work with Army chaplains to take care of soldiers.
Wow.
Be it spiritual needs, sometimes it's moral and ethical stuff that comes up that soldiers just need help with. And we can help talk them through it and help them to find solutions. And when all else fails, you can always try reaching out to the chaplain. And I'm the enlisted guy who keeps the chaplain safe, takes care of administrative stuff, logistical stuff, tactical stuff. Keep the chaplain safe on the battlefield so that we can do what we got to do to take care of soldiers, so that soldiers know that they're taken care of and can focus on the mission at hand. We make better soldiers, which is a very weird statement to say. And
no, that makes sense. That's awesome, man.
That's fucking cool, yo.
Yeah, that's like an incredible. That sounds very fulfilling, actually.
It is. I mean, you don't always get a home run, but every once in a while, somehow the ball just flies the right way, and it's like, wow, it just works out awesomely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, man. Well, I hope to find a career as fulfilling as yours, quite frankly, because I like my job. I don't love it. That's all I'm going to say. But man,
awesome,
not to get too sidetracked, but Brass, you're a little bit more up to date on the nobility stuff. So maybe you do the lead in and the questions 100%. And everything like that on this bad boy.
Well, I mean, sure. Well, actually, before we get started on the nobility stuff, I actually I was really interested in digging into a little bit of the TI4 online server and a little bit of that. I think that'd be cool to do as a little prelude. So we were just talking about it with Phil, but Homeboy has essentially been like on the ground floor. I mean, it's like if you've been in the community for long enough, you've probably gotten on the TI4 online, TTS and whatever, but you probably didn't know that PhilRoi was one of the first 3 people on that
first couple.
First
records
couple?
are gone. Nobody remembers. But I was the person who joined right before SCPT Matt did. So
Wow.
that I do have a record of. So I've been around longer than he has.
That's incredible.
Beat him
to it. And I was there basically day one. I remember seeing, hey, TI4, has been released, and on Reddit, Turaveyor is one of the mods over there on the Reddit, and he's like, hey, maybe a Discord would be useful for organizing games, because people were trying to organize games on the Reddit.
Oh, word.
And so he created a Discord, and I joined it. I was one of the first couple of people in the door. And very quickly, it was like, hey, we might want to organize this. And he really didn't know anything about Discord. So he's like, hey, so I'm computer literate. I'm kind of a power user. This is funny. I was a computer science minor with an art major in ceramics in college. So these days I joke that I majored in creativity with a minor in methodical thought.
I like that.
And then I ended up going into medicine, working on an ambulance for several years, and I joined the military where I work in the chaplain corps. So I'm going every direction at once.
Well, you told us in the lead up to this you also have ADHD, and boy, does that sound like my career path. So I feel you, my man.
Yeah, no, I have the ADHD career path. But I ended up offered to help out, set things up, get set some permissions up and stuff, and Argo's like, yeah, you seem like you know what you're doing here. And he made me a top level admin, and then I got stuck with it because I could edit any other user except for there was another top admin who was nominated, and myself were the 2 quote unquote custodians, and then we couldn't edit each other and we couldn't edit ourselves, so we were like locked in, forced into this subservient role for several years.
Oh my gosh!
Then something came up eventually, and so I was just running it and just doing it, and the other guy kind of went quiet. He's still down as emeritus as a custodian, and if he ever shows up in the community again and wants to keep going, there is technically a Discord charter that we wrote up that I have saved in a Google Doc that I still follow to this day. It makes nobody knows about it. Well, a few people know that it exists, but nobody pays any attention to it other than I do, because it's how I run things, and it's the way that I run things behind the scenes. If questions arrive, I handle it according to the way the doc says, and technically the doc can change. If the guy shows up again and wants to resume as a custodian, boom, he's in. Because he's never been formally voted out or anything. I just moved him to an emeritus role because he's inactive.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that was running on, and eventually something happened where we had the opportunity to Discord feature came up where we had to enroll in something, but you had to be the actual owner to do it. So I asked Argor, I said, hey, I want to do this thing. Can you pass me ownership real quick, and I'll pass it right back? And so he just passed it to me and refused to take it back.
Oh, do you have to accept, like, when someone transfers ownership to you? Like, you can't just, like, hand it off to people?
Kinda, yeah. So it's you can, but you can't. And he's like, no, just keep it. I've had nothing to do with it since like day 7. So
oh my god,
he's just
that's
like,
funny.
you've run it, you've been running it, kind of on your own for a long time. Really, I can't think of anybody else who should have it but you. So this is one less thing off my plate. Take it and keep it.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. One of our running jokes in my WoW raid group was that whoever was the lowest DPS had a raid lead. So we'd keep passing that title to whoever was lowest DPS as a joke, because you don't want to do that anyways. So
right.
It's like I was like, if you have to accept it, it'd be different. I was wondering if it was similar to that.
Well, it was funny because in the back of my head, I've been running things and always known that there was somebody that I was accountable to. Like if I screwed up, there was somebody that the team could go to who was the actual owner. So that way we kind of formed like the 3 top custodians formed like a triumvirate of the big bosses. We had the silent partner, and myself and the other guy would go back and forth, and if we were in agreement, well, we could just do it. But if we were in a disagreement, we could always go to the silent partner for a tiebreaker. now he's out, and I've maintained now that the owner is out and the other guy's gone quiet. I nominated another couple of senior custodians to pull up, Brian and
You,
Is Big
Brian.
Al one? Divine Duck. I see. These are the people I see. like
I
moderating
think
a
it's
little
Duck.
bit.
Yeah, Duck and
Mhm.
Brian. Because
just
that way
kidding.
we still have that tripod of power at the top level where there's always a tiebreaker if there's a question.
Mm-hmm.
And
no,
those
Brian's
going to
be a great custodian. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
He's been around since the beginning too.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
Really?
a pillar of. Yeah, he's been around since the beginning, very, very early on, and really has been a pillar of the community along the way, just a constant presence and a constant voice. And he and I disagree sometimes, and that's okay. I have deliberately chosen an admin team and a moderator team that doesn't look like me, doesn't talk like me, doesn't think like me, because I want that inclusivity and diversity across the admin team. I want people to represent who they are and be an advocate for people like themselves who are different than me in the community.
Man, that
men,
really resonates
women,
with me.
Trans, you name it. Just gamers of Americans, non-Americans, Europeans,
all stripes, baby.
all stripes.
Love
We very quickly realized we were turning into a global community, and I wanted a global, very inclusive, diverse representation on the admin team, and it's I think has worked. The biggest thing is that hey, you're willing to understand why I'm enforcing the standards that I am, and willing to follow the standards that I'm suggesting, which are pretty just basic humanitarian stuff. Treat people the way they should be treated. Listen to folks and understand. I mean, it's simple things like, hey, we have new people show up in the community all the time who are asking questions that we have probably literally answered 1,000 times.
Yeah,
that was me 8 months ago, 10 months ago. So thank you, by the way.
Don't get upset. Don't get short with them. Don't be like, hey, I've answered this 1,000 times. Check the pins already. No, you got to remember that for them, this is still a brand new community. This is still a brand new world. And just, hey, answer the question again and be nice about it. It really doesn't take a whole lot off your plate to just remember that they're new. And there's nothing wrong with being new. We were all new once. And just answer their questions and help them along. And we started the academy specifically to help bring new people into the community and help give them a safe space, specifically as a designated safe space, so they could feel free to answer and ask any questions that they wanted and learn to play on TTS and learn to play online and learn metas in an environment that was not as competitive or fish eats fish as the regular gameplay can get. And it's worked out. There was some early talk early on, and I fought very early on with it because it was, hey, we got to teach these people how to play right. No. I said in the beginning, there's 1,000,001 ways to play the game, and 1,000,001 people are going to play it differently. There are people who are very much into the role play aspects. There are very much people who are into the casual Euro of it. There are very much people who are into the tactical wargame side of it, and they're all right. There is no one right way to play. And what we need to do is yes, introduce people to the way that we play, but we need to also respect that they may play differently and teach them to respect other people's ways of playing, not teach them to play the TI4 online meta. Because there is a TI4 online meta. And we're not preparing them to join our meta. We're just teaching them to play online and enjoy playing online, period.
Wow.
Damn, that's a lesson I need to learn because I'm always like, there's a right way to play and you're not doing it. So stop it. So no, I appreciate those words a lot, actually, Phil.
I always joke that I have an 18% win rate because 1 out of 6 is just like 16.9 or something like that, just under 17. Well, I'll give myself a 1% over.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't mind being just a little better than average. Because the reality is, anytime you play a 6-player game, one person wins, 5 people are losing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Totally.
And if you play to win and everybody plays to win and winning is all that matters, you've got 5 disappointed people at every table.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible way to play long term. I want to play so that everybody has a great time, everybody enjoys themselves, everybody loves to play, wants to come back and play more.
Yeah.
Even though I've lost that game, I've won the ability to play 6 more games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't burn you out.
It doesn't burn you out.
Yeah.
And just bring people back to the table and over and over and over again. And
wow.
It's a different philosophy. It's a different perspective. Does it mean that you're playing suboptimally? I'd like to say no. You're just redefining what optimal play is.
I like that.
Yeah. What?
Especially on the server, yeah.
I was just going to say, what an incredible journey. You, like, to quote you earlier, I've seen this server grow from 11 people to 11,000 people.
Yes.
How cool.
In fact, let me pull it up here. Server insights right now. Weekly visitors just under 2,000. Weekly new members about 40.
Wow.
Only down 13%. Weekly member retention. We're only retaining people for about that's down a little bit. I've seen that number higher. I've seen that number lower. About 100 people talking out of that 2,000. But then we'll go to the actual server insights here, and it gives us a little bit more. I haven't looked at this in a long time because I don't want to chase metrics. I want to have a quality experience, and then just let the metrics be whatever they are for a quality experience.
Gotcha.
But new members, it bounces, but it's actually fairly stable, I would say. Total membership over time. Back here we were under 9,000, but I mean up here it's been a fairly steady over time. It's during the pandemic we skyrocketed. We had there was a couple of weeks there where we gained like 1,000 people over the course of like a week and a half.
Wow.
And just skyrocketing, and things are kind of stabilizing a little bit. Server leaves over time kind of vary. A lot of new folks, a lot of old folks. It varies. It really does.
Wow.
I feel like you've been like one of my board meetings, like the CEO's presenting numbers to me, letting me know about our yearly growth reports right now. Oh man, no, this is incredible though. It seems like your attitude has really helped with the growth and like the mission you set forth. And I'm not going to say it's like succeeded because I don't know what your end goal is, but I feel like based on what you're saying, like it's a very welcoming community, and I learned a lot about the game there. I mean, on the episodes, we talk about strategy and game analysis, so.
And I talked about it being a global community. About half the people are from the U.S. But other than that, Canada, Great Britain, Australia, Germany, Sweden, Netherlands.
Wow.
And then the others who are from all over the place.
We don't talk about the others.
No,
20% of the server. I'm very much talking to the others.
No, that's awesome.
Most folks have been in the server for over a year.
Wow.
Are they new to Discord? No, most of them have been with Discord a long time. So, I mean, our announcement channels, 24 servers are following our announcements.
Whoa. Oh, wow. Wow.
So when I announce stuff, we're not just, I'm just not announcing to us. I'm announcing to a good thing.
Oh man, this is okay. That's cool. I'll keep this in mind.
And actually,
PhilRoi's the guy with the
episodes
horn.
announced in there.
Yeah.
What's that?
Thank you for that, brother. You gave us announcement power. You brass announcement
powers.
Oh
yeah. No, I'm all about sharing the wealth because again, I hate to talk about boat float meta in the community, but when it comes to the Discord, I very much am a boat float because there was a point there where our Discord started to grow and we were the biggest because there weren't very many Discords yet. And the question was, other Discords started to grow and show up, and I'm like, hey, I can go out there and be diplomatic about it, but suggest that, hey, we're trying to grow the central community. Why don't you just join the central community where you will get more visibility and access to a wider audience, and just monolithic the server. And I decided, you know what? It's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually, no matter what I do. Embrace it. Don't fight it. And it's where I had an initiative there where we've actually got some Discord channels and channels themselves, like down here in the resource library. A lot of these channels are being replicated by a bot and echoed across multiple Discords, so that we have shared resources. The quick rules help channel is replicated across multiple discords so that we can have. So one of our hey, this is what we bring to the community is our rules lawyers who really know the rules and have been involved in rewrites of the rules and drafting the rules, and Milty is down as a proofreader for POK. People have access to it on the other discords through that replication. They can pop it up and they can get an answer from somebody who is not just an opinionated person, but a person who has an opinion that actually matters because they have been involved with POK and TI4 rules writing for a long time.
Wow,
that's incredible. I didn't know any. I didn't realize that was what was going on with all of that.
So we offer it to other discords. I come across discords. Hey, if you want to get any access to any of these channels, we've created bots for the Milty bot, Map bot, some other bots for displaying TI4 maps and other stuff in a Discord. We've shared those out with other Discords so that people can pull up rules reference, fact questions, stuff on the sly. And it's again, we're integrating into the community as a whole, not just being an insulated community, but we're really trying to bring stuff to the table across the board.
Awesome.
So
wow.
You look over here on the left here, on the side here, and I scroll down here, and I counted it this morning, a little over 40 discords for various TI4 related purposes. About 35 of them are actually TI4 discords. Other ones are things that I'm on because of TI4 related stuff, be it help discords for bots that we're using or whatever.
Wow.
So,
and I thought I was a Discord addict.
Yeah, I'm up to 6, and I was like, man,
I'm getting a little out of control here, man.
Yeah.
I will tell you this.
So I guess you get into 7, it's the same as 20.
The folders are your friend. Because you can hide them all and you don't have to look at them. Because I'm not into all those Discords all the time.
Yeah.
But here's a good example. Somebody shows up in the Discord who's looking to connect with Australians, or they were in Australia, New Zealand. I can send them over here to Cool Guys for Australia Pacific. Germany. There's a German Discord. I've got the UK. I've got Minnesota Metro, so that's the smaller one. This one is Polish.
Love it.
We've got I forget what this one is. Is this the Russian one? Yeah, this is the Russian one.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
I can refer people to.
Wow.
This is the tabletop for tabletop. There's a Canada one. There's a.
Nice.
These guys are Latvian.
Nice. Wow.
Swedish.
So there's just a lot of. Yeah, there's just a lot of.
Here's the async guy.
Is that Micmac Moose's server?
That is Micmac Moose's server.
It
counts as one.
Oh, we're on there. Yeah. Look, we're on Micmac
us.
Moose's server.
Oh yeah, we're a big deal. Don't know if y'all knew that. We're a big deal. We've made it.
The French server.
No more
wow.
I forget where this one is. I think Atlanta.
Tight.
So you're just like a resource if they want to connect to people to play TI4. You can not just you, but people in the community in your server can route them. That was kind of what you're getting at. There's just people all over the place.
This is so cool, Phil.
Which is part of what I was doing down here then in my resource library was building. Hey, here's a listing of some extra resources you can find. If you're looking for TI4 music, hey, here's a list of a whole bunch of different playlists. If you're looking for internet resources, websites, generic stuff.
Wow.
Some links here referrals. If you're looking for homebrew stuff and you're looking to make your own stuff, here's your homebrew toolbox. This has got links to all the different kinds of templates and stuff for GIMP for creating all your own homebrew TI4 components.
Wow.
Israel, New Zealand. Okay, that's that. The Europe group list. I've got group lists for Facebook groups and Discords. Denmark. Sweden. I've just been collecting it. Sorry, I lost Canada, UK, United States. For people who are looking for groups. Look, that New York's one's
So,
invalid now, but
so it's
no.
settled. If you're out there and if you need literally any information or anything about anything TI related around the world, you just talk
And
to
if it's-
PhilRoi. He'll connect you. He's the connector.
Go to that resource library if Phil's not available. So
Yeah.
try in the resource library, and if you don't find something and you go searching on your own and you do find it,
Mhm.
pop it in the submissions channel here for me, and
There you go.
I'll get it added out here.
Wow.
Okay. That's
And,
actually awesome.
It's stuff. There's
You
know,
put a lot
and
of
it's
work
just,
into this, man.
and it's again, it's like I wanted us to be, and it's been a tension. I will freely admit it has been a tension across the entire development of the Discord. The streamlined, efficient folks and the high everything the kitchen sink folks. It's on the one hand, if you become too monolithic, people join and they see 20 channels pop up and they're like, "Oh my God, what did I just walk into?"
Mhm.
And it's like some people like TI4 Online needs to be like an LFG channel and a rules channel, and maybe a channel for scheduling long term. In the future, like a games calendar. That's all it needs to be, because that's all they use it for. So all that other stuff is a distraction, and it's extra pings and it's extra notifications, and they just don't want to deal with it. And it's overwhelming when you join it and you see it and you're like, oh. And then there are the folks who are like, hey, let's have a channel for this. Let's have a channel for that. Outside of the resource library, there are fewer than there used to be, but now we've got some labs for the ongoing projects that we're doing. The homebrew hub for homebrew. For a while there, I had this linked with another Discord. I outright broke and created a second homebrew hub Discord for creation stuff, and we can wander over there in a little bit. But for the Franken development, people who want to talk about tabletop bling and upgrades and stuff that they're doing.
Oh my gosh.
There's pictures here you can go through and you can find all kinds of stuff that people
Wow.
have done.
I'm not even playing this game right after watching some of these people's setups. Good lord.
But that's the thing, is everybody plays it differently, and
Yeah.
I value the variety. I can show you some pictures of some of the stuff I've set up, and it's crazy. But cartography stuff, and then we got some of the workshop stuff. If you got questions about streaming, I got a channel for it where you can talk to people who are also involved with streaming stuff.
Wow.
It's not very active, but it's there. If you're working on TTS module stuff, and this is more for like, you have the front desk, which is up in the help section, up in the top of the channel list, and then this is the back room where the actual work gets done. But for talking about the TTS module, the stats that we're pulling out of TTS games and stuff. So if you want to do deep dive into the statistics stuff, pop down to the stats channel, and there's pinned things. You can go to the dashboard and you can look at what the TI stats are. What are the win rates? What are the win rates for this and that and everything else? What are the various map tools that are out there? We've got the map bot, but then I've also made a deliberate effort to connect with the creators and maintainers of many of the various web applications that are out there. Keegan W. I forget what all the other ones are. System Dealer, Keegan W, Joe Pinion's one. There's another one too that I need to get pinned. There's 3 or 4 of them, but hey, inviting them here is a place to crosstalk, specifically because the TTS mod had a map format for saving map strings. Well, due to technical requirements, it had to change and evolve, which meant that we broke the interconnectability and compatibility of, hey, how do we handle this new stuff? Or how do we handle hyperlanes, which now not only does it matter where the tile is, but what its orientation is. Well, how do we annotate that in a map string? And how do we do it in a way that all the other things that use map strings that can all cross-institute? So we have to understand create a standard.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's kind of blowing my mind a little bit.
No, I didn't realize just how much was being put into all this. I knew it, but just being a layman, it's
But I, very early on, I spotted long term having that kind of crosstalk was a benefit. So I created a place where those guys and folks could come together and crosstalk, because it helps the community as a whole, and it doesn't hurt that they're doing it on our platform. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
then we're in the
Mhm.
middle of it. And then like TTPG module development, talking about stuff.
Mhm.
Right here. Daryl's working on a system for dynamically adjusting the contrast and
Oh my gosh.
intensity of the tiles.
What?
We're looking at it for
Yeah.
a system where, like, when you activate a tile, it's full intensity, and like it can gray out a little bit of the rest of the map to kind of bring some subtle focus to what is the
Oh
active
my
system.
God.
What?
That is so awesome.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
Daryl
this is an early
Daryl's
test.
such a badass.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
You look
I don't
here,
think it's just
Jordan,
Daryl, but
full
yeah. Oh my
intensity.
God.
Well, no,
Yeah.
there's a whole team. I mean, I'm in the. Let me go down to the secret TI4 module
Mhm.
because there's
Ooh.
really nothing. I know.
Can I look at this? Do I need to cover my eyes? Just kidding.
No. There's this is
That's a lot of
mundane.
cussing. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But you scroll down here and you look and it's like, hey, there aren't too many people on right now, but
Mhm.
there's we have a whole list of folks who are potential contributors.
Mhm.
Dev pool, they're all pink in their name colors.
Hmm.
But they're bringing in extra ideas and they're talking about things about, hey, this is how we think it
Ooh.
should work or could work.
Oh, that's
This is
cool.
the stuff that, like, TI4 module. This anybody can wander in here.
Mhm.
But this is kind of the more, hey, backroom chat, because we don't know what's going on here. This is
Pages?
hilarious.
That was so funny. Did you see that, by the way, Brass, yesterday?
What? See what?
So see those cards Cages has there, like that posted. So Duval, I think it was, posted. He ordered all his stuff, like his Codex 3 stuff, and he got it delivered. And he had all the new action cards. Like he got all three things, and he got all the new action cards. And then
He
he had
got
2 extra
80% of
cards.
what he ordered.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
he
and then
got
all he got was that.
those?
He got somebody else's order.
Yeah.
And
And
so it was
on
like
the
most
back-
of what he had, so it was okay. But then there were these 2 extra action cards that had these as the front page for him. And it's
Yep.
like, no flood, you win. Flood, you lose. It has these 2 goofy pictures. Obviously, this is an in-joke for some group somewhere in the world.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's so good. Oh, man, I had to walk away at work when I was reading this.
It's not only where we're at and what's going on actively to make sure there's no huge problems erupting, but where do
Mhm.
we need to be, and where do we want to be 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. And so I've been thinking and planning ahead, and that's where, like, hey, bring in the homebrew hub, bring in the homebrew stuff in, bring in the development stuff in to create it. It adds to our long-term growth and development and the central role that we can play in the community, by cementing those things early and being prepared. Because if I hadn't done the work that I did to bring people in to do development on bots and mapping and stuff early, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we would not be the central element of the community that we are today. One of the biggest things that I can do is introduce folks to each other. Making people. I'm not a map developer. I'm not a coder. But if I find folks who do have those skill sets and can get them introduced to each other in the right way, sometimes magic happens,
Mhm.
and it moves forward, and great things happen. But so that's the Discord community. We've got Discord news that goes out to 26 stuff. We've got another one that's the YouTube and Twitch TI4 stuff. This is where any content creators can post stuff.
Right.
And if sometimes I'm just out and I find stuff that I'm not in contact with the creator with, but I just find it and I still throw a link up.
Yeah.
Very early on, there's a guy who made an album of TI4 music, and he posted a new album, and I went, hey dude, I'm gonna post it. He had like 50 people subscribed to his channel prior to that, and he went to like 250 in like just a couple of days.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's like, hey, thanks.
That's
And
incredible.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
But occasionally, we've had a couple of town halls talking about just general stuff, behavior, ethics, and playing TI4,
Mhm.
and just
I
trying
do.
to.
The Winter Spectacular, is that the one big thing? Or what's it called that you do there?
The holiday
global-
charity brawl. Yeah.
Yeah. I was definitely thinking we would talk about that a little. I don't know anything about it. I've been meaning to ask.
Last year, it kind of just didn't work out. It was
Mhm.
just too rough to get it put together.
Mhm.
But 2 years prior to that, we had one, and they were glorious train wrecks. And I mean that in the funnest way possible. The first year, a couple of years, we've raised like $4,000 or $5,000 for charity. In a couple of years. 1 year was SCPT donated $1,000 as an apology for something really down and dirty they did.
Man,
I don't want to spoil the fun, but it was a hilarious thing when they donated. And it was like, oh, it's a big shame. Oh, they're buying everybody off. Yes, it's true, but this is for charity. Let's remember that at the end of the day, it's all about a laugh and a giggle.
Mhm.
Like the first year we did it, and it was 6 teams from 6 different countries, regions, competing in 6 games, 1 player from each game, and there was composite score between everybody's performance across it.
Oh.
And we knew that it could be dangerous. We didn't realize how dangerous it could get. Because there was one game where literally somebody showed up with a PDF that they had pre-written, and they immediately, because the rule was no negotiating outside the game. Well, he wrote up his proposal in a PDF and he sent it to the guy once the game started, which basically said, dude, if you and I just collude like crazy, you and I are gonna take like first in place, and we can shut down everybody else.
What?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And
I hate it, but I love it.
Oh yeah, it was like total dirty politics exemplified.
Whoa.
And it was like, it's like you had players at the end there who knew that they no matter what they did, they couldn't influence anything. And
That didn't sound fun.
There were aspects of it that were just plain not fun, and then there were aspects of it that were hilariously funny to watch just play out. And they've made for some memorable stories that people will still talk about to this day. Because a lot of it was just mathed out. You just, hey, this is awesome. It was literally one guy got dogpiled on and pretty much eliminated one game because the meta ranking required it, which meant that even though the player who had sat down to play that game played like a round and a half and then lived in a zoo for 5 hours, that's not fun for that player.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there were downsides and there was a dark side to those tournaments too. But in the end, we raised $5,000 for charity. Doctors Without Borders has been our primary charity of choice. Healers Without Galaxies, as we like to call it, to get a little bit more of a team thing.
I like that.
And we just, so it's been an amazing thing. I would like to do one again this year. I'm thinking that this year, instead of the long series of games like we've done in the past, because it's just, you've seen SCPT tournament, how much of a drain it is for the commentators to do game after game after game.
Yeah.
And week after weekend after weekend. Even though now the pool of commentators is much bigger, SCPT has helped to grow it, it still ends up being a major slog. So I'm thinking trying to look for something that I can do over a weekend or 2 weekends that's probably just a more intense, hey, everybody show up at once. We're going to have a couple of great streams, play some wild and wacky games, and laugh and giggle and be done.
Word.
Without doing it. If I do it off, I'll invite you guys out to commentate a game.
All right.
Or a chunk of a game. We can do it in shifts. So
like
that it's
tag
not
it out
like
for rounds. That'd be funny. Like you
tag
have
it out for
5
stuff.
rounds. You do 5 different countries worth of commentators.
Stuff like that. Yeah. We'll see where it goes from there.
Hell yeah.
That's a really good cause too. Doctors Without Borders, man. That's awesome. It's awesome.
Especially right in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
The pandemic kicked off, and it was suddenly very relevant and it made a lot of sense. I've also looked at doing things for lesser ones for groups like what was the name of it? Of course, name blindness. The Trevor Project.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's a hotline for suicide prevention hotline for gay and transgender youth or questioning youth. But it's and we were looking at doing that for Pride Month, and ended up falling through due to life happening. But it's still on my list to go back and revisit this next year, and look at doing it again.
Word.
Because again, the opportunity for us to just as a community come together and say, hey, we're board gamers, we're nerds, we don't care, we're gonna do what we want to do anyway and have a great time doing it.
And put some good out into the world. Yeah.
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 And it seems like you're
Absolutely
doing that in bundles, by the way, Phil.
Yeah, lots of that. Lots of that, my bro.
But it's, and again, and it's, hey, and sometimes I house these things knowing that, hey, if we donate $100 to charity, we had a good day, and I got $100 in my pocket to donate. So we're gonna have a great day no matter what happens.
Yes, bro.
I like that.
Yeah.
Money where your mouth is.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
I donate to my own charity stuff, and I kick it off and say, hey, I'll match up to this dollar amount. Let's get this party started, and we'll see where things go. But that's the Discord. We've got LFG, we've got casual looking for group stuff, we got asynchronous games, we've got synchronized games, we've got all kinds of stuff. And where other communities have grown that do those things better, I am not reticent at all to refer to other people, to the other Discords and the other communities that do those things better. Because again, at the end of the day, somebody goes, hey, I went into TI4 online and I was asking about asynchronous games, and they sent me to the async server and it's awesome. They remember that TI4 online sent them to an awesome place. Even if we're not the ones doing it.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou said that, and that you never remember. You can't always something about you can't always remember what people said, but you always remember how people made you feel.
Yep.
And people, hey, I want people to feel like this was a place that they get treated and feels like a happy place. I don't always succeed. I will freely admit that there have been terrible things that have happened periodically, and when I know about it, I step in and do what I can to make it right. There have been some spats and fights, and that is the other dark side to what I have to do. Is I'm the senior custodian, so I get to deal with the disciplinary stuff. I'm a firm believer that this is TI4 for everyone, and everybody should be welcome here. Where I draw the line, as this may sound a little funny, is I don't need any jerks, and jerks are defined as people who are incapable or unwilling to change their behavior for the sake of someone else.
Word.
And if people are willing to change their behavior, by all means, I will work with you all day long to try and help you to change. If you show that you're incapable of change and your behavior is a hazard to others and their health and emotional well-being, you're gone.
Agreed.
And I don't feel bad about it, because there comes a point where you can't whiffle waffle about it. But I will bend over backwards to make and work with you to try and find an answer. And what works for you. Find out why you play the way you do, why you respond to things you do. Sometimes it's stuff outside of TI4 world that's making you had a bad day at work and you came home and you had 3 beers and you sat down to play some TI4 to unwind, not realizing that those were 7% beers instead of 3% beers.
We've all been there.
And you were a little more hammered than you thought you were. Maybe you had a few drinks and then you decided to throw some weed on top of it, and now you're out of your mind and you're not really thinking as
this
clearly
has
as you
never
should be.
happened to me. What are you talking?
Not once.
Not once has this ever happened to me.
Wait, Brad, are you who he's talking about?
I don't know.
I'm not
Phil
calling
will
any
call that.
names out.
We'll
No.
call it out.
I would. That would be not what I'm asking for at all. I'm just going with the bit.
Or sometimes it's negotiating, where you have politics and discussions and they show up at the table that, there have been a few issues about people being uncomfortable using pronouns, or just plain forgetting or intentionally not using preferred pronouns. And I've had to talk to folks about that and say, hey, we're keeping this free for everybody. At the end of the day, we're all TI4 players, and we all love to play TI4. That's the only requirement I have for you to be welcome here.
For real.
You love to play TI4, and you can play TI4, and you're willing to make sure that other people safe playing TI4. So let's play some more TI4. Welcome to the table.
Yeah, straight up.
Sick.
the homebrew hub where we, help wanted is, hey, if you need help with something, you can post it there. Rule discords, announcements. We do scheduling and testing for play testing each other's stuff. General homebrews. This channel was linked with the homebrew hub on the main channel, the main Discord, TI4 Online, for a while. They were echoing, but it was confusing folks, so I backed it out. But when it comes to, hey, we did talk about what's involved with creating cardboard components. If people have server ideas for things they need, talking about evaluation criteria, this is where I'm setting the standard for how we talk about each other's work, because it's very important to offer good critique with a known perspective and framework to it, so that people aren't like, oh, that's dumb. Well, wait, no, that's not the way we do it. You say, hey, I think that change is going to have this effect, and I'm not sure that it's A, the effect that you want, or that B, I think that it may impact these other things negatively. You might want to take a look at how that balances again. That's a different statement. You're offering a criticism that says, hey, this is the way I see it working. I think it's not the way you want it to work. Do you want it to try and work this way instead? Or is this a different way to make it work? And I think it works better this way. That's a more constructive criticism than just, OP, please nerf.
I like how you're helping people with framing, quite a bit actually. Dang.
That's well, even with the main Discord. My thought is I admin the admins. I don't admin the server population. I teach the admins how I want to do it because of the way that I talk to them and show and do stuff. And I say, hey, let's do it this way.
Yeah.
And then
you're leading by example.
They can go on.
Yeah.
I put my money where else. This is the Dane fan club. This is where all the homebrewers come together to complain every time Dane makes a fact or a ruling that totally messes with stuff. Talking about relics, agenda, ideas for strategy cards, relics and exploration, and it's a shared. I mean, we've got all kinds of folks in here designing stuff and talking about and sharing ideas, and oftentimes we're all working on projects that are very different from each other. So very much we will have somebody will propose something that doesn't work for what you're doing, and that's okay. Instead of going, that's dumb because it doesn't work for what you're doing, you're just like, yeah, I can see that working for what you're doing, or hey, that wouldn't work for what I'm doing because I'm doing things differently, and it would impact my balance this way. But again, it's turning it into an analytical crosstalk, an understanding of the mechanics and how things interplay. Units. Here's where Dave that I think blue green would make sense for carrier. I want with the option of forcing a harder commitment to blue tech if you want the reward for carrier too. Where he went blue.
3 blue, baby.
Oh man, so either you're getting advanced carrier 2 or you're getting light wave. Oh my gosh.
But it's just we're looking at it and we're pausing to think about what would this kind of a change mean and talking about it.
Carrier 2 best unit in the game. Just gotta shout that out.
Yeah.
No, seriously, best unit in the game though.
Relics, objectives, leaders, expansion stuff, tech changes. Yeah, there's your tech stuff. We want to talk about tech later. We can. Promissory note changes, overall balance stuff. It just everything, you name it. Yeah, and then you get into the individual project labs, where this is where individual people are working either on multiple projects all at once or stuff. Calixis, Civi, Dave, Pith, Lockreed, Vorax, Yakes, Blue, and Fulvio. Once Upon an Imperium Lab. This is one where it was a joke. There's a card game called Once Upon a Time that's a storytelling card game where basically you're playing cards that are nouns and verbs from story tales. Prince, castle, sword, fight, singing, stuff like that. But you're literally just making up a story, and whenever you name something that you have on a card, you get to play the card. And the object of the game is to get rid of all the cards in your hand and tell the story
Oh.
to an ending, a specific ending that you have. So I was joking that you could do one for TI4, and then you could tell a game of TI4 without actually playing it.
Why are all my
the
cards
yin
say
are doing
home
this,
system
and then
activation?
the home system activation is of course going to be one of those cards. And, it's going to happen somewhere along the way. You have to talk about the home system activation.
No, that's a great
I love
idea.
that.
I'm all about that one.
Legacy TI. What would Legacy TI look like? Lost World.
It already is a legacy game.
We're working with it is, and it's a funny way. Working with Absol for a Lost Worlds. She's looking at worlds that were either in earlier versions of TI4 and have not appeared or in earlier versions of TI and not in TI4.
Garbosia.
Those, and what would they look like?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Bring back Garbosia, the garbage
Garbosia?
planet. You don't remember Garbosia?
No, I never played TI3.
Garbosia. Hazardous 2-1.
Oh my god.
Yes.
The world of Garbosia used to serve as the Imperial dumping grounds. After years of festering, the organic compounds have recently become quite priceless.
Oh my god! Imagine finding a relic on Garbosia. Oh, that's
it's
incredible.
there.
Wow. It's right at the top too, by the way. Actually, that's definitely on the list.
It's a garbage planet.
From memory. Oh my god.
Yep.
Is that like
it's on there?
That's where we're filming right now.
Incredible.
Yeah. Carconia. I mean, improvements and superpowers. This is one where somebody's working on a specific project.
Mm-hmm.
For our homebrew. Kakatopos is huge. Has been hugely impactful because he's very good with he designs expansions for in real life use. So he's created real life components for all his stuff, and that's always his end game. So he's been able to teach us, as the rest of the community, how to make stuff for in real life stuff. Recently, and this is where I talk about that whole reaching out to the community and stuff. Recently, on the general or the world TI Twilight Imperium Global Facebook group, somebody posted a Warhammer 40K faction pack.
Lit.
And it was interesting, and a lot of work went into it. The difficulty is while the group that plays it uses an English TI4 set, their primary language is Italian. So there are translation issues and formatting issues with the way their rule set is written in the components. And so we're going to try and see if we can help them to clean it up and give them a cleaner English version.
That's cool.
Wow.
That's just us reaching out to the community to help with something that is a very cool project. Hey, we have the expertise to rebuild components. We have the rules experts available to help us with phrasing. Tactic Blue is around, with the Discordant Stars faction pack, 25 new factions to play with. On top of the other 25 you've got for an even 50. Go figure.
Oh my god.
So we have the experience with digging into the nitty-gritty of the rules, and the Discordant Stars faction pack is an amazing faction pack. It's balanced. None of the stuff is OP. It's wild and crazy stuff.
Novel mechanics.
Very novel mechanics. And it's fun. There's a lot of really fun stuff in it.
I'll have to check it out soon.
It's great.
And then we have an area for, completed projects, things that are kind
there's
of
more than one thing. Heck yeah.
Discordant Stars, Monuments Plus. Monuments was Blarknob created Monuments for the original TI4, which were like extra. It was a unique building for each faction that you could build that had a special ability, kind of the forerunner of legendary planets, and a forerunner of leaders in a way. But it was a legendary planet ability that you could choose which planet to build it on.
That's awesome.
But he created it for base game and hadn't updated it for POK, so Kakatopos came in and he rated a set for POK, and then he got inspired. He went ahead and created an alternate set, so he calls his monument, Kakatopos' version is called Monuments Plus, to distinguish it between monuments, so that way Blarknob is completely free to go back and complete his own set.
Sure.
And then if you have both, you would have a choice. You could pick which monument you wanted to use in every game, which is
totally
cool.
Well, there you go. Wow.
Franken. Mercenaries. Mercenaries was an expansion that I nudged very early on in its development because I was thinking about stealing it, and I freely admit it. And I did so with the creators' knowledge because he was brainstorming about creating an additional leader type, and I nudged him towards a space in the design space for leaders that exhaust but have a cost to refresh.
That's the way to do it, baby. That's the
awesome.
way. That is
So
clean and simple and easy peasy. I love it.
And it fits in the spectrum. So they're kind of like commander level powers, but they exhaust and you have to pay to refresh them. Some issues with the balance across it. It needed more playtesting and some more development work, I think, long term. But it is out there, and it's kind of neat.
I love it.
I actually, and I freely admit that I ended up not stealing it for Nobility.
Yep.
Because Nobility went in other directions. But again, it's still a nifty reference, if nothing else, for, hey, what are some cool abilities I can do that are thematic for factions? And I may still steal them, but I will use them in a different way in Nobility, and we can talk about that when I get to Nobility.
Cool.
And then Mercs was another related version, kind of like Mercenaries.
Okay.
But a little different. Manta Patch moved over here. There was a Manta Patch server that kind of went wild. That was a Jolnar Binks project for a long time. He's since kind of retired out. And hey, Binks, if you hear this,
hey, listen to St. Thomas me.
What's up, Binks?
I'm not. I kind of curtailed the development, stepped in and absorbed it over here to the hub, partly to preserve the Manta Patch server where it was at, so it didn't wander too far from his vision while he was in absentia, in case he decided to come back and pick it up again. Now that server, that Discord is out there static. It's not being changed or altered. Whereas, this has been picked up by a couple other guys who are running with it and are still working at trying to complete the project. But they're doing it separately on file, and they're not messing with the original stuff. And it's not to fault and say that they're doing a bad job. I think they're doing an excellent job at evaluating things, but their vision is not what it was in the hands of the original creator. So this is a way to create a split and division that we're not taking over his project. We're creating it. We're forking it to create a separate version, so that way, if he decides he wants to go back and pick up the original, it's still out there. And then, of course, then you get down. That's the Manta Patch mega project, and then you get into Nobility Rising. This is where I've got a whole bunch of my stuff.
There it is.
And then you've got some of the global stuff. The resources that are getting replicated out. And then this was a little teeny tiny project that's kind of nudged in here on the hub. Originally, it was more of the hub's focus, but I moved the hub to being focused on homebrew. But this was a multi-Discord, United Discord Security Council, so to speak, modeled after the UN, where some of the top admins, if we had issues, we had a place where we could talk about multi-Discord issues, or, hey, if I gotta end up banning, and it fortunately really has never come up, but like if I have to ban somebody who is a big member of the community, it may be worthwhile to have a place where I can let the other big Discord owners know that, hey, I got to do something bad because this person did something really bad. And even though it's, I banned him from just my Discord, but he is in other Discords, and there may be repercussions or ripple effects out there. So again, thinking ahead, what might we need 2 to 3 years down the road, even if we don't need it now, putting this in place so that I can pull this up if we need to. And I've had a couple of folks where occasionally I pulled somebody into it and talked to them as opposed to just a PM or stuff, because here I want them to see that it's not just me saying, hey, I had an issue where there was a microcosm of players that were on a small Discord where their behavior and echo chamber of talking back and forth was creating some behavior issues that were showing up on TI4 online. Not quite brigading and stuff, but I was able to call him here and talk to him with the other Discord owners and say, hey, you own your own Discord. You're a Discord admin, so you're at this level, not just, hey, you said to knock it off. But hey, the way you're managing your Discord is impacting other Discords. So let's talk to you as Discord owner to Discord owner as equals. He still felt like he was getting called out on the carpet by Dad, and I felt bad about that because that was not my intent at all. I was very much trying to say, hey, you're an equal. you have an equal responsibility, same as the rest of us. When your Discord is impacting other Discords, we need to talk about it as fellow Discord owners.
Yeah, straight up.
But this is the stuff I do behind the scenes that nobody sees.
I didn't realize like just how in the weeds you were, man. This is incredible. Thank you for thank you for really giving me a nice framework to grow in. I'm being serious. This is awesome.
For real.
But it's there. And like I said, I could talk for hours about TI4. I've been around and doing so much stuff. You guys didn't know what you were getting into when you invited me onto this.
I didn't, but you know what? I'm enjoying the ride quite a bit, actually. It's a bit of a nice Saturday pleasure cruise for me.
So, one of the side effects of being around from the beginning and seeing, very quickly we had a homebrew channel because people are like, well, what if this was changed or that was changed? And the regular players are like, we don't want to talk about this stuff. That's homebrew. And so then we created a homebrew channel on TI4 Online, and then there was one over on SCPT as well. And it was just like, hey, it was kind of, you could tell that it was very much, there was a divergence in the communities there. There are hard lines by their book rules players, and then there are those who are like, hey, let's talk about the possibilities. But I saw all those possibilities being discussed from the very beginning, and I seeing all the ideas discussed from the very beginning, and it's been very interesting to see ideas resurface in the community multiple times. Convergent design. People starting from the same basic material tend to think about the same kinds of things. And some ideas have been awesome and some have been less well thought out and not what they were thinking, that not likely to work the way that they thought they were going to work. And I say that slowly because I'm guilty of this myself and I freely admit it. I joke that I break everything and that nothing is broken if everything is.
I like that.
So the Dane philosophy.
Dane's gonna Dane, and Dane's always gonna Dane, and I indirectly, I share some space with Dane online. I tweet at him and stuff, and he tweets back, and a couple of things here and there. But we're like,
he's a sweet boy.
Two generals showing up at an opera to pretend that our armies are not at war outside. And we sit down and we have a steak dinner and we listen to the opera and we enjoy it and we mention nothing about the outside world while we are in that space.
I love that.
What a great image.
Oh, that's incredible. Well, now we have to set it up, right? Well, GoFundMe started for the PhilRoi Dane steak dinner opera night. All right, link down below.
But he knows that I do a ton of homebrew stuff, and in fact, talking about Nobility early on, I was working on stuff, and I was very much deep into the weeds on development when turns out POK was in development in the background. Which in hindsight explains why certain individuals in the community kind of quit talking and pulled away from nobility development and didn't,
for
they
sure
were under that NDA stuff.
Yep. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
But it was like POK hit, and I was like, darn, I was getting real close.
Yeah.
And so Jay says, yeah, you need to figure out. And I'm like, well, I guess I just got to pivot it to POK. And Dane. And somebody said, he shot me a real quick message. Yeah, you should do that because it'd be a shame for all your hard work to go to waste. Being a game designer, he understands that you put hours and hours and hours into something, and you don't just want to walk away.
Sure, yeah.
And even though he will not touch it himself, he's very clear, and I'm respectful about that. That's why we don't talk about the armies at war outside.
Yeah,
because I understand his need for division. I'm in the military. I have a security clearance. I understand the need for keeping some parts of your brain. I work with soldiers who have very, very serious issues sometimes, and the left half of my brain quite often is not talking to the right side of my brain. I know things that I don't admit to myself that I know. Or have known about people. And so I'm used to compartmentalizing things. And so I just very much compartmentalize my homebrew stuff when I'm around Dane. It stays in a box, and I just don't talk about it. And he doesn't. Dane, of course, every once in a while, he's been known to throw something out there just to see how people react to it. But the reality is he's like, it's interesting to see those reactions. The reality is Dane already knows exactly what he's going to do. He's not really looking for input. He's looking to test how the community is going to react to what he already knows he's going to do.
For sure.
Oh, don't put the secret sauce out there, man.
Well,
You're gonna ruin his tactics. Come
well,
on, buddy.
So
every time I see it do, everybody's like, "Well, you should do this, you should do that." I just like, Dane's not going to do any of that. Dane's going to do what Dane's going to do.
Yeah.
Dane's going to Dane.
And now let's chill with Big Al Cappuccino.
Diversity is not meant to be easy or comfortable. What is truth for us may not be truth for them, and this does not make either of us wrong. Our own playstyle, in-game choices, and faction selection come from our own learning pathways, our own intuition, and this can be astoundingly different from other players' paths. We love to engage in debates about these differences, and often in-game it can be a key instigator of conflict. X-2, I hear you say. But in these moments, embrace the ideal of inclusion, without which we would not have 6 players at a table bringing this game we love, this Twilight Imperium, to life. Like cooking a lamb neck stew. Some like chunky carrots, others chickpeas, and even some forego the lamb entirely. These differences are what make life great, allow for our own growth and evolution, and exploring them together is a most precious aspect of humanity, our social nature. Embrace your fellow players for all that they are, as you in-game direct hit dead reds.